my life is unrecognisable from what it was before to how it is now. Everything that I did before, I can't, you sort of take for granted that you're safe, that you can walk down the street, and immediately after I was too scared to leave the house, without my husband with me. I couldn't go anywhere dark. It affected my whole life. You can't really explain how bad it was. Even silly things like being out shopping in the daylight, if somebody came up behind me, even if we were sort of in a queue, I'd freak out and I'd have to stand aside or stand on my back to a wall or something. I couldn't stand anybody behind me, or somewhere I couldn't see. I was constantly checking over my shoulder if there was somebody there. It freaked me out. It had a massive impact on my life. All the things that I took for granted, the fact that you think you can trust everybody, and then you suddenly realise that actually you can't trust people, and that there are these people out there that will do things to other people without thinking about it, and you suddenly then looking at everybody differently, or because we didn't know who it was, I was looking at every man thinking, was it you, was it you, was it you? And you start to get paranoid, and it's horrible. It's a horrible feeling to feel you can't trust anybody.
So did it affect your relationships, both with your family and friends?
Yeah, my marriage took a real knock. We were very close to splitting at one point, because my husband didn't quite understand how hard it was for me, and I didn't understand how hard it was for him, and it was just constant rows and questions, and I felt that he didn't trust me, and it was because I didn't trust anybody else. It was awful. We really got to the point of thinking, okay, I need to be alone, because I don't want to be around people. Friends stopped asking me how I was. They didn't know how to approach me about things or talk about stuff because they were worried about upsetting me, so they just stopped coming around. And it was really difficult, and I just felt I wanted to crawl into myself and be alone and not deal with the outside world.
How did it affect your work life?
Work, obviously had several weeks off to start with, and then went back to work thinking, I could be normal. I wanted to be me again. Suddenly realised that you can't be who you were before, and your whole brain kind of gets changed around. It's like it gets rewired, that you get like little things that would have, a little comment or something that you would have brushed off before. Your brain starts looking into it more deeper, that they mean something by it. That I was getting arrogant, I was getting snappy, I turned into a right bitch at work. I really, really did. People were really worried about what to say to me in case I'd snap their heads off, and I saw it. I realised I was doing it but couldn't stop it.
So over the time, obviously things have got a little bit better.
Yeah.
But do you think it has had a long-lasting effect on you? Is it going to stay with you for the rest of your life?
Yes, it will. I mean, it's been 2.5 years, and I am able to do things now sort of slowly that I couldn't do straight after. I can be out at night. I can even go now into a pub at night. I don't think I'd ever be able to go into a nightclub ever again. I'm still a bit wary and constantly looking around, but I'm not as hyper vigilant as I was before. I don't have to look over my shoulder every 5 seconds, and I'm not always aware of people around me now like I was before. But my trust or lack of trust in other people will stay with me, I think, for it's, forever. It's sort of like a massive wake-up call that you suddenly realise that these people are actually out there and we live among them, and I guess everyone thinks it won't happen to me, and I was one of them. I thought the same, that it wouldn't happen to me, and then it did, and then you realise that the world isn't a safe, nice, lovely place that we'd want it to be, that these things happen.
Have you got any advice or words of support that you'd like to give anyone that has been a victim of rape?
Don't deal with it alone, I think, is the biggest thing. Go to the police, let them do what they have to do, get the help. There are counselling people out there. Rape Crisis, it's a fantastic organisation. They really help me, and they're available to help you too. tell your family and friends, you know, let them give you the support that you need. Don't deal with it alone. I think if you let it bubble and fester away, it will get you, it will cause you to have a breakdown, because it did to me. You know, you think it's fine, I'm strong, I can deal with it, but you can't. Even if it takes months, years, it will come back and get you. You have to face it and you have to deal with what's happened to you.
And do you have any message for any potential perpetrators about their actions if they're going to cross that line?
I think if I could say anything, it's just think about what you're doing and what impact what you're doing could have on somebody else. Everybody's out for a bit of fun, but just be really sure that you've got consent from the other party, that they know and they're aware of what you're doing, that they're not too drunk or they're not under the influence of drugs or anything like that, that you're sure that they are giving you consent. Because if they're not, your actions can have a massive impact on their life. And it's not just them, it's people around them that are impacted, their family, their friends. It has a widespread, you know, reaction.